So any objections, anything that you think is standing in your way, this is the call for you. So Brandon, I open the mic to you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit, how did you get to this state?
Well, for one, thank you so much for having me. It is truly an honor. I see some familiar faces on here, which is cool. What's going on, everybody? I never know like what teams and where people are in Imperium. I feel like we're all just kind of like meshed in. We're all one team, which is true. So it's just cool to see, your community, beautiful community. And I'm a little nervous, honestly. I'm a little nervous. I just got off of another call. I wanted to make it on this call. But I just like to state that because I know sometimes it can feel like the people who are having some level of success just, it's just like everything goes perfect and everything just goes. I know I felt like that when I first got into the industry. It was like, man, when I see people on stage or I see people at the top ranks, it just seemed like there was such a huge gap between where I was and them. But I want you to know, like, I truly feel, she just reached out to me maybe like an hour ago. And I feel the responsibility to say something helpful. I don't want to just get on here and ramble. So I do feel a little bit nervous. And I just acknowledge that. And so I think that that's one of the main things that you can do is like, for me, a lot of times what stopped me from having success was feeling nervous and not doing it. You know what I mean? And when I started to have success, I realized I felt nervous and did it anyway. So you feel the same thing, but it's like, what are you going to do? Like, how do you actually respond to the feeling is what changes the results that you get. Same thing. And you can see it in working out. Maybe in a 365 day year, I really feel like working out maybe like 5 days. I'm like, man, I got to kill it right now. 5 days out of the year. The rest of the days, it's a discipline. The rest of the days, I know the result that's going to come from putting myself under pressure. I know if I start the day with intense pressure, then there's nothing that anything on the outside can put on me that, is going to kind of throw me off. So start the day with the win. I felt like what one thing that I could do that would be helpful is kind of just share what I've been sharing with the people on our team who are running for Diamond. Because I know you're all preparing for our vacation in April, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Good. I can't wait to see you all there. Who's going to be there? Just raise your hand if you're going to be there. I should see every hand go. What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's something we can talk about is decision. Decision is huge. But you asked a little bit about me. I'm Brandon. I've been a personal trainer for maybe 15 years. Started when I was a junior in high school. Had a lot of success with that, strength training, worked with some bodybuilders. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio, so the Arnold Classic is here. So was really heavy into that world, a lot of athletes. I'm also, Ohio State's here, so work with a lot of Ohio State athletes, but also the general public. I really worked with everybody. I started my business when I was homeless. I heard some information that completely changed my life. It was Bob Proctor talking about the mind, right? Which was big for me because I wasn't homeless because like I had any type of addiction or anything like that. I was really ambitious. It was more beneficial for me to sleep under a parking garage in the winter, like around this time. Actually it was this time 10 years ago. It's crazy. It's been a decade now. But it was just more beneficial for me to be close to opportunity. There was a gym that I wanted to train at. I wasn't certified. I had no clients. I really needed to show up. I really needed to show up and add value to that place so somebody would recognize and hopefully train with me. But it didn't quite work like that. I was taking an L after L. First, I was living in my car and my car got repossessed. So I just kept taking L after L after L until I heard Bob Proctor talk about, and it was crazy because I was listening to YouTube and I was listening to music and a little sidebar popped up. And it was a guy talking about the stranger's secret is men don't think. We have mental activity, but we don't actually consciously, intentionally think. And I played that audio and then it kind of took me to Bob Proctor stuff. And it just kept taking me to these different ideas that I'd never heard of, these concepts of maybe I'm actually not thinking. Because up until that point, I would hope to have a good day. I wouldn't set the intention. I didn't know that it was my choice. I was like, hope everything goes right so that I could have a good day. I was really living from the outside in, not the inside out. I had no concept of living from the inside out. So, getting into that and actually applying that changed my life within maybe a month or so, I had earned over $100,000. I had became a very successful personal trainer. It was really quick. And it was quick because, and this is one thing I want to talk about, because when we came into this company, we hit Green Diamond in like 5 weeks. And people were like, oh, you guys are crushing it. And, like, oh, wow, but we had already had like 7 years of network marketing experience. We didn't have the network, but we had the skill, right? And then, and I know sometimes a person can get started at the same time and see somebody like us move fast, and then that comparison comes in and it crushes you. So let me put something in context. I had been a personal trainer in high school. If you go to my high school, I was on the wall of fame as a strength and conditioning coach. I had started very young. So I earned like $100,000 in a month because all these things were in play. I was ambitious. I was working hard. That's why I was homeless. I wanted it, but I just didn't have the right mindset. So it was like, if you look at the combination, like I had one thing off. Once that got into place, it allowed me to roll. So I also think that I see that with a lot of people in Imperium. A lot of times that they're just one or two combinations off from really unlocking it and catching the momentum. But if you don't have that massive overnight success, doesn't mean the business doesn't work for you. Doesn't mean somebody else is better than you. It really doesn't mean anything other than they are reaping from a harvest that they sown probably before they even knew about the opportunity. And you are now having the opportunity to sow seeds. But I digress. That happened, had a lot of success, started working with Bob Proctor. There's a program, I actually have it right there, that big box at the top. It's a program called Thinking into Results. Started teaching it because it worked for me. Start teaching Thinking into Results for Bob Proctor, working actually with him to corporations and different things like that. And I love working with Bob Proctor, like absolutely incredible to be able to get on it was Skype back then, Skype with him or meet with him in Arizona in person, but wasn't fulfilling work. Then wasn't fulfilling working with corporations. Built a big personal training business, great, but still not fulfilling. So for me coming to Purium, it was the perfect opportunity to mix my love for health and fitness with the personal development in a vehicle that gave me the opportunity to spend more time with my family and truly express it. I would keep that story that I just told you, because a lot of personal trainers and a lot of life coaches, that's one thing. If you look at our team, it's a lot of personal trainers or a lot of people that are in personal development. That's why it works. Because people in life coaching typically can't find the clients that they are fulfilled with working with that can actually pay them, or they work with somebody that can pay them, they can afford it, but it's not really fulfilling work. With personal training, it's trading a lot of hours for dollars. It's giving your energy. It's not necessarily a great return. Purium and network marketing in general, but especially this company, is the perfect vehicle to balance both, where you can actually pour in your love for developing people and your love for helping people with health and fitness, and be able to create an incredible amount of income and time freedom for yourself. So that's a little bit about me. You have any other questions?
You were saying that in high school, there was something that you were earning so much money. There was a switch you need to turn on, right? How did that happen, and what was that?
No, not in high school. I was training in high school.
Oh, right.
I was already like professionally training in high school. I started training in middle school. I was professional in high school. And then maybe like a couple years after that, I wanted to really pursue it myself. And then I was homeless. And then within like literally from sleeping in snow to being in Miami training celebrities, like that switch was literally the personal development. That was literally that was the only thing. Like, people can't believe it. Nobody believes it. And this is the craziest thing about it. I heard that too. And you'll hear that a lot. So like, I'm telling you, people are not going to believe that you were as negative as you were, or you didn't have as much doubt. I heard people say that had become successful. I was like, there's no way that this person, made all this impact, had any type of self-doubt. And now when I tell a story, people are like, no way, you were negative. I couldn't imagine being negative. It's crazy to me. It's like, yo, I'm telling you, all your fears, I had those same fears. So keep working on yourself until you get to the point where people can't even believe it, because it's true.
That's true. Yeah. I would never think you were a negative person.
Oh, super negative. I was very, like my mantra, people knew me from like bad things always happen to me. Like, this stuff's going to happen to me. It's probably not going to work out. Don't get your hopes up. Like that was my mantra. That was my meditation. Those are my daily affirmation, my minute by minute affirmations. That's a fact.
Do you think when you start to have this positive mindset, the people around you started changing?
So you know what happened, and now I understand it because I've really been studying this process. When you start to move down this path, it's called developing trust, or it's a name for it. It's probably millions of different paths, million different names, but I know it as like the development of trust. And so what you see is not just things, but people actually fall off your life. It seems like you're losing everything. So I lost my car, I became homeless. It seems like I'm losing everything, but all of that had to go for me to actually find myself. That was when the shift happened. So it's like, it's clarity because, you might have reliance on your friend group. You might have reliance on social status. You might have reliance on the education. I had reliance on these things of like who I was and what I had done. When all of that was gone, I developed the inner reliance. And that would look like the darkest moment of my life is honestly the foundation for my whole life to come, because I've already slept in snow. I literally know the bottom. And it's not that I just know I can hustle my way out. I know that there's truly, like, there is no coincidences. We live in a very orderly universe. Like everything that happens, even when like things look like they're going terribly wrong, I understand that it only looks wrong if I judge it, and I'm judging it from a very limited perspective. This is probably going to work out. It has to work out in a way that I couldn't have even imagined, but it's going to be the best situation, not just for me, but everybody involved, which just gives it space to resolve itself. So yeah, it's people do fall out and things do fall out your life, but honestly, it's like things that are no longer in vibrational harmony end up being the things that kind of fall out, and then you start to attract. It might take time, but you start to attract people and things that are in alignment or even a little bit higher that can like help you pull up.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I know my team knows you really well, and you're a power doer with your wife, right? So did this happen? Was your wife on board with you through this, or did you meet her later?
Everything that's like that was a crazy year. I started the year off in the snow and kind of ended the year. I met her in October, right after her birthday. It's 27th, so maybe like 28th. It was like right after her birthday. And then she trained with me for a month, so October to like end of November. And then we got married in February. So like it was right when things start going. She like brought the good. Like things start going good when I met her.
And you guys share the same mindset.
I don't think we shared the same mindset right from the beginning because we didn't have the same experiences. But she was hungry and she started to learn. And she put herself, that's the one thing about Olivia is like she puts herself in situations and gets herself through it. So not when we met, but very, very quickly, she's very receptive to learning. Like our first date before we even knew it was a date was we went to a Les Brown event, and I had invited all my clients. I invited everybody that I ever worked with to come to the event with me. Nobody came because it was like, oh, I don't want to hear all that stuff or read that stuff. But she came, so she was always very receptive to information. So everything that we've done though, from like, it wasn't when we first met, but like everything that we built, like our fitness business, stuff like that, definitely came from both of us being on the same page when it came to personal growth. I had just caught it first because I had that experience of losing everything first and actually seeing it. Whereas to when we met, she was more comfortable with me.
Beautiful. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming on because I know this was super last minute, and thank you. I'm very grateful. And you said something. You wanted to be close to opportunity. How close are we to this opportunity that Purion gives to us as a gift?
What's crazy is I've been a part of another company and we were very successful there. We traveled the world. And Olivia and I, when we met, she was my first brand partner in the other company. So we met. I had just joined the company. She came to like my second home meeting. I didn't even have a home at the time. I asked my barber if I could borrow his living room, and I ended up moving in with my barber. And she came to my second event, and she became a brand partner. And then we stopped doing the business for like 2 years. But we both were a part of that company and started having incredible success, traveling the world, all this stuff. And then it closed down. Like we were having a record-breaking month. We were about to hit Diamond in this other company was about $240,000 a month in sales. You had to do at least $120,000 every 2 weeks. Like it was fast-paced. If you didn't break it and then you had to hit it 3 months in a row in order to actually qualify for it. So it was like fast paced. And so we were finally having our breakthrough with Diamond, and it shut down. And the one thing that Olivia and I talk about is like, we had no idea the beauty of what we had. That's why when we're in Purion, we're grateful every single day, because sometimes you take what you have for granted, how incredible it is. And this opportunity is way better than that. So again, it seems like a bad thing. It was an incredible thing because it led us here. But man, you got to take we're not just pushing products and we're not just selling something. Like this is such an incredible opportunity to heal ourselves, or not say heal for the FTC reasons, because the FTC is what shut our other company down. So an incredible opportunity to nourish ourselves and create the environment for healing and to nourish the people around us. And at the same time, educate people and create community and create income and create different opportunities for other partnerships and friendships and relationships. There's people in our community that started, real relationships together. So don't take it for granted. Like, don't take a single moment with this opportunity for granted, because I don't want to speak that, but like these things can be gone like that. And then all you have is memories.
Absolutely. I was just thinking that I'm like, we have our health, you have your family. There's so much to be grateful for. And to wake up with a journal of gratitude is so important. I think this is something we all should do in our daily life to begin with. I love that. So, this is an open platform that I would love everyone to share. So if you guys have a question, unmute yourself, ask Brandon anything that you feel is holding you back from getting to that next level. Or if you're already there, share about it. I would love to know how you got there. What happened? How did you get to that decision? Go ahead, Catherine.
Okay, so you guys saw me last year, and for me, it was I was in. So I don't even know where to start. So my whole transition just shifted really quickly in the last since Christmas, since December until this month. I just did this whole I did a lot of transformational work last year. I was in a leadership program, which really supported me and my mindset, but I wasn't there yet. I was learning all about it, but I still wasn't there. And what shifted for me is just really believing in myself, really having that trust and belief in myself. But I also really I really sat with, I wake up every morning and spend my mornings with God. The first moments of my day are spent with God. And I talk with him and I tell him what's going on in my life, and I ask him questions and I listen, and this is what I do. So that's really become even more so for me. I won't do anything until I have that conversation with him, because he's guided me to this point. He guided me to Purium. He's guided me here. He saved me. I was God, I was saved in November of 2020, literally saved from the depths of wanting to die. So I'm really grateful that I get that time with him, because he's brought me here. And in December, I was okay, my government job is doing what it's doing, and I'm standing for the people with that, because there's people in there that are committing suicide and all this stuff, and I'm now taking that stand. But I was how do I go further? How do I move further? So I really asked him, and I started writing in my journal, and he's got me writing, and I'm writing brand partners that really want to run and really want to support and be on this mission with us, and customers who really know the value of what it is that we're bringing to the world. And so I'm writing these things down daily. So for me, it's my mindset has shifted because I just was open and surrendered completely to what my mission is. And he's guiding me, because literally my purpose is way bigger than who anything that I am right now. And I know that, and I get to just lean in. I have moments of despair, and I just lean in more to him, and I lean into you guys, and I'm really open to the community now. And I was like, because I was a lone wolf for so long, I did it all on my own, and because trauma response, no one can help me, so I had to do it myself and that kind of stuff. But I lean in now. I lean into everybody. I lean into every moment I can. So I'm just really grateful, and just really believe in yourself. Believe, trust, and have faith that we are here for a purpose, and we are never going to be led astray. Like Brandon, you were talking about being in a car. Like I haven't paid my rent or my bills this month because I haven't had money coming in since November, because my government job is literally that I'm fighting against has literally messed up all my paperwork.
No, get down.
And but I'm like, but I have faith. I have been pushing into, like, really going into my business and really diving in and just going for it and being on all the calls now. And my old way of being would have been like, oh my gosh, poor me, victim. But I'm literally like, don't know how I'm paying my bills, but I'm just going for it. And this is what we get to do. We get to really trust and believe and have faith. So that's what I've been doing. Thank you for listening.
That's beautiful. And I've definitely been to that place too, even after the time of homeless. Actually, one of the most powerful times is I have been where you were with the bills, and I was like so fearful. I was in such a fearful state. I literally did not feel comfortable even getting out of bed. Like I had no trust. I didn't even feel like the floor under my feet would support me. And that was another powerful thing, because it made me dig deeper. It's like the dark night of the soul. You feel that disconnect from God or source or whatever you deem to be, that it makes you have to like dig deeper in your practices. Like it sounds like you are now after starting the day. And suddenly, it's crazy how it works, but it's every time. Suddenly something shifts, somebody comes through, an opportunity comes through, something happens. And it makes up like so much of what felt like a lack, that it makes up for the lean times where it's hard to even remember the pain of the situation that you're in. I wrote down this morning. It says the reason fear exists is because we can't predict what's going to happen next. That's the only reason that we're ever in fear. We're never in fear of what's happening now. We're in fear of like what's going to happen next. Well, I haven't done this, so now this is going to happen. It's always like the next thing. But it's like, I love what you said about, you becoming so close to God, because when you have something strong like that and you're able to make that connection, you don't even need to predict it. It's very predictable, because the author is. So it's like, you can't necessarily see it. And that's why I got this tattoo. It says authentic, which is my fitness business, but under says by faith, not by sight. Because that's what I learned. And I never would have learned it without that seemingly dark situation. So these places that we find ourselves in is truly a beautiful thing if we can breathe and observe what's happening and journal it. And then I promise it becomes a part of your story that helps millions of people later on down the line. So you have a powerful testimony in the make, and I look forward to hearing that story from stage.
Wow. Oh, and Catherine, I see
so much.
You've become, just the way that she speaks, and she's like, I am Diamond. I'm already there. She already talks about being in there. So that's beautiful. So we feel your shift.
100%.
Thank you. And Brandon, you were saying something like, I can't remember anymore, but just brilliant. Okay, so Alice, I see Alice has her hand up. Unmute, babe.
What's up, Alice?
Hi, Brandon. It's so good to see you here. I love everything that your wisdom is so wonderful. So thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us. I had a question. I love you telling about the times where everything like seemingly fell apart. And that's when I found Purium. It was at my absolute rock bottom, and it gave me everything. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about when you hit those blocks, when you seem to like come up against something that seems so big, and it takes such a big jump in mindset that sometimes it's so frightening. And I see it happens to me, it happens to people around me a lot, where it's like it's almost so big of a jump in mindset, because I'm currently trying to double rank to black. I don't like the word try, I'm double ranking to black.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been like this thing for a while, and I'm so aware of the correlation between mindset and that 100%. I know that because I got to green when another thing, like my life fell apart, and it was like give up or fucking go for it. And I don't know how I did it still. It was like a blur. So what advice do you have for going up against huge goals and just not, I know how it's done, but I'd love to hear your take on it, because I love how everything you've been through is just so incredible, and the person that you are now. I'd love to just hear your advice on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind words. Two is like, I honestly, like, I knew this day would come. That's what got me through it. And I practiced it. So like what you're saying, I expected to hear it. Like every time it was hard, like, oh my gosh, this is ripping me apart. Like, man, I'm sleep deprived, I'm hungry, like I'm just trying to help, it's not working. Like, whatever was happening, I always knew that, man, this is going to help somebody one day. I promise from the very first time, even when I was homeless, I was like, this is gonna make a great story. So like, I kind of already had told the story from a place of success when I was actually in the pressure point of the story. And that alleviated it because it made it purposeful to me. I think that we can go through anything as long as there's a purpose for it. So my purpose for it was always this, and I think about this when I'm working out, and that's really important, I feel, is strength training. Putting yourself under pressure. I know with yoga and different things like that like holding different points is under pressure, but I've done a lot of different trainings, and I think that different ones play different roles into the psyche. And like, I just got done with the back workout that was pressure, relentless, rep after rep, set after set. And my mindset is when I'm working out is, if I can take it, they can make it, meaning my team. When I'm working out, but I'm thinking about like, if I can handle this pressure, my team will be able to go through it, because we are all in energetic resonance with each other. They're like tuning forks to each other. You know what I mean? So if I give up under pressure, even if nobody's around, I'm in a gym by myself, or I'm in a basement by myself. If I can go through this, and not even just go through it, but grow through it, when I get into the presence of somebody I'm working with, now I've created another frequency that they can attune to. So I really keep these things key in mind when it's like the pitch of like the hard part. Another part to that is, we call what you're going through the terror barrier, right? So people go through different stages when they're about to change. The first stage is bondage. And you've all met people in bondage because we reach out to people who need the superfoods, maybe dealing with some serious digestive issues, like the superfoods will almost save them. FTC approved, not saying they'll save their lives, but just saying like the superfoods be very helpful for them. And they're not willing to even research it. They're not even willing to listen to it. It's a scam, it doesn't work. That's the mind of bondage. It doesn't want to change, even though it needs to. And then we move into a second stage, which is called reason. And when you're in reason, you kind of play with the idea, right? So this is somebody like you might play with the idea of going to Black Diamond. And when you play with the idea, you think about how nice it would be, what it would look like, what your team would look like, how many people now you're bringing to Diamond Club in April. Like all these different things go through your mind, and it's nice, but it's not actually being internalized. It's a conscious game. It's not up in your subconscious mind. The next stage is conflict, because that's when you actually, and that might be where you're at, when you're in conflict, you start to actually internalize it. And like, okay, I'm doing this, and your old paradigm meaning a multitude of habits, it feels like what people call anxiety. It feels like butterflies in the stomach. It feels like I'm too afraid to go forward, but I can't go back. And you want to really get out of this pressure point. It's a terror barrier. The Terryberry shows up in everything, and not just in business. That's why doing things that are tough every single day, the cold showers, all these different things are great, because you run into the Terryberry before you get into the cold shower. You run into consciously put yourself up against a Terryberry and see what's on the other side consciously and intentionally, so you can transition it over all those different stories, all these different price points to this one thing. Because the only thing that helps a person get through the terror barrier is, one, massive action, and two is knowledge. And the knowledge comes from hearing, it comes from seeing, it comes from doing. So it comes from surrounding yourself with people who've already done what you want to do, because they've been where you are and they can energetically and verbally speak to the experience and how they got through it. It's reading, it's audiobooks, it's listening. Because again, the reason why there's that feeling, there's that mental gap, is because all of who you've been is conflicting with who you're becoming. So if we can turn down that voice more and more and more and more, drown it out with more positivity, more uplifting things that are more in alignment with where you're going, then you have a better opportunity of taking a inspired action. Because you can also be taking a lot of frantic action, which is not going to get you anywhere. But you get more inspired action. You literally tune into the wish fulfilled. And so because you're now thinking in that alignment, you feel it, you have ideas that match that black diamond space. And so whereas you might have just said, hey, let me do a call for one person, you may say, hey, what would it look? You just ask a better question. What would it look like if I was actually developing a black diamond? Instead of me hitting black diamond, what would I look like to help somebody reach to double rank advance to black diamond? And you start to move into this. You know what's a good book? This just popped in my mind, so I gotta say it. It's off this thought, but it's called U Squared. Have you read U Squared?
Oh.
Get U Squared. Everybody should read U Squared, because it's about taking quantum leaps. It's YOU with that little 2. But that's about quantum leaps, because that's what you're looking for. A quantum leap takes a completely different way of thinking. But yeah, in short, to get through the terror barrier is just massive action and knowledge, which comes from doing calls like this, surrounding yourself with people who've done it. And then again, like one of the things that I really like to do to lower the pain is like, it's not for me, it's for these people. It's for like, yeah, I'm suffering right now, or I don't even like to say that. I'm putting forth a lot of effort, because suffering is only that fight between like where you are and where you want to be. It's this mental battle. You put forth effort in the gym. If you suffer in the gym, that's completely your choice. We're putting forth effort in the business. We're not suffering to get to our next rank. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So you might be exerting extreme effort, but if it's just for you and hitting the rank, you're not gonna be able to pull enough energy to get it done. But if it's so that, you know, all the people that are coming behind you can read your journal, like this part of this journal. I started this March 31st, 2021. This is the day that we missed Crown. This journal started when we missed Crown. We were like $146,000. We hit Crown the next month, but we missed it, right? And so I wrote this. This is a mind flow from red diamond to royal crown. I wrote this to journal all of the mental and energetic exhaustions and how we got through that on the way there. So I'm literally already documenting a path that I'm going to give to our future teammates. So everything that I go through is helpful. There's nothing harmful. There's no stress, because it's like, perfect. Now I know how to help a person to get into this situation. You see, I'm just playing a game with myself. So it never feels like this is like bringing me down. It's like, I needed this situation. Perfect. So when this happens to this person, I have exactly how to do it. Does that make sense?
I love how you said that. Brandon, that just blew me away. So you don't even look at it as a struggle. This is what's leading you to the other path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love it.
I just want to say thanks. Like I'm tearful, because this is exactly what I know inside me, but there's still that fear. And when you say it like that with so much, you're just like, that's what you do. I'm like, oh yeah, of course that's what we do. it's absolutely amazing. You're just channeling. Thank you so much for your wisdom. It's not just for us, right? It's not just for us. That takes it makes it so much easier. It's for everyone. It's for the team. It's for all the people that I wouldn't reach if I didn't get out of my own effing way. So thank you so much, Brandon. You're amazing. There aren't words. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I want everybody to think about this. There's people that haven't even been born yet that are going to be able to come into your organization that is like already so systemized and done from the lessons that you learn now, that when they actually come into it, they're coming into something that's going to allow them to move faster in a year than you were able to do in 10 years. Like that's the sacrifice that you're making right now. Not sacrifice in the way of like self-deprivation, sacrifice in the way of giving up something of a lower nature for something of a higher nature. You know what I mean? Like you're literally creating something that's going to, like somebody planting a tree that they'll never get to like be under the shade of. Like we're all creating something that's going to be like on the next, like how it is now. This Dave and Amy created this, and look what we get to come into. So now it's up to us to create this, that when another person, when the next generation gets it, it's like, oh, this is like not easy, but this is so simple for me to be able to succeed in.
Wow. Beautifully said. Okay, next, who would love to share? Okay, I know Sonia. Sonia, go ahead.
Hi, thanks a lot, Brandon. That was amazing. I totally resonate with everything you're saying. And yeah, being in Kundalini yoga for like many years, it was always just that little extra where you feel like you can't do it anymore. And it's like, just do that little bit just before you think you're going to collapse, or you think you're going to, and you know, it's just so, it's inspiring to see that you can fall or stop something and then just see it as your experience, and then move into the next level, basically, because whatever's teaching us, and you know, trusting that process, that we're on a journey, that we kind of, our higher self is guiding us. You can call it God, you can call it, you know, everybody has like the universe, source, like creator. And this is where we're at. It's like we're getting that if we can stop everything and listen to our stream of information coming in through us, to us, we can actually be in alignment. And that's different for all of us, like what success looks like, and what, you know, like, and what our mission is here. But coming together for me in the last like couple of months, just being part of this, I'm pretty new, but I'm feeling like I always need to know more. I need to learn more. I'm a bit like, okay, what's my, you know, I need to learn how to make these reels, and I need to learn how to, and I'm just like, well, just do it. Just do a little bit every day, and know that you're putting the momentum, the energy, the intention, you know, like many times a day into what this business is, how it's transforming me and everybody around me. And yeah, it's just, the trust thing is a big one, I think. And I think trusting when we're in the unknown, as we are right now, and it's big what we're experiencing, you know, like people call it ascension, or the new earth, or the next dimension, or, you know, and I feel like we're in this wave together. Like we're seeing that we are the creators of our reality. And like there's paradoxical information, but it's like we're merging it. Like you have to be patient, and yet you have to take action. You have to be receptive, and yet, you know, again, so the subconscious and the conscious, or like the feminine and masculine, are merging as one inside of us, you know, the left brain, right brain. So we're becoming these whole and holy beings. And it's like, wow, this is so exciting. And we get to share our journeys together in non-competition, but in really embracing each of our uniqueness, our unique path, and our unique gifts and contribution to the whole of humanity, because we are one, you know, evolving consciousness. And it's like, wow, when you really get that, you know that you're in flow, you know that you're in your ikigai, you're in this whole, like, so yeah, I'm in the place personally where I finally need to make money for myself instead of volunteering and doing all these like goody raising children, helping, all this because I feel a need to change the world, but now it's about, okay, I've been changing myself, but how do I, transcend that last bit where I feel, okay, the money's flowing in because it's harvest time kind of thing. And I feel that, but so far that leap into like getting the brand partners and like, I've asked people and so far, there's been just like, no, I'm not interested, or it's too expensive, all these excuses. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm sorry because this is really an opportunity, like you're missing out. I'm sorry so I'm just like at that next level, or those people are just, they're there, but it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, so anyways, I wanted to share a little bit. I don't think, I have a question if that little barrier, like you said, if there's any other tips or things that are coming in for you.
Yeah. I love what you said too about like the duality, because I always, when I go to like, people know me outside the gym is like, nice. When I'm in the gym, I actually wear fangs. Like I'm the savage and the saint. When I'm working, it's relaxed intensity. So it's like that, what you said explains everything perfectly. I definitely can relate to that. Also too, let me ask you something. What's your vision for your business? Like, in 30 seconds, tell me what you're building. Go.
My vision for my business is to bring more health and awareness and consciousness into people, make their lives better in the choices that they're making every day.
This is a leadership business.
Right.
If you're not clear enough on where you're going for people to follow you. That was so broad.
Right. It's vast. It's cosmic.
It's vast. People want to follow, but people will only follow a strong leader. And people will only follow people whose leadership skills are above theirs.
Right.
So you need to develop leadership. That should be the number one thing. I would devour everything, John C. Maxwell. I would start with the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, and then I would get the 5 levels of leadership, just so that you can really understand the concept. Because just listening to you, you have great communication skills, and you are already very conscious, a very conscious person. So just like what I was saying, you got a lot of those combinations, like, but there's just already a couple things off, and I already knew it was just the vision. Because if people aren't following, they don't know that you know where they're going, where to go. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't enroll people into Purium's vision. People are buying you. That's why it's a network marketing. So when you become really, really clear on exactly what it is for you, you'll know who to talk to and who not to talk to first. Because when I'm reaching out, when I'm prospecting people who are into personal growth, development, and leadership, because I really utilize Purium as an opportunity for leadership development. My goal actually isn't a royal crown or diamond or all this stuff. It's to create a community that fosters leadership. That's what everything rises and falls on leadership. And this is a great opportunity. That might not be true for you. So it can't be about what mine is. What is it really for you though? It might take you days to come up. It might take you weeks to become clear, but you'll know it when you get it, because you'll feel it in your gut, and you'll be so energized from the clarity. You'll look at Purium completely different, because it's like, this is the vehicle for me to actually be able to express what I felt in my heart this entire time. And then you will go to people with that message, and they're going to be like, wow. You know what I mean? Because when I talk to people, it's not even about the superfood. Like, the superfoods is, they take care of that part. Like, we don't have to worry about the website. We don't have to worry about the product. We can align ourselves with this. When I show the quality, it's just to show them that the product will be the best. So we don't have to worry about sharing things that are not of quality with our community. But I'm saying, but what you and I are going to be working on, we're going to build a legacy. Legacy is not left in things. It's not left on our material possessions. It's left in the people that we were able to impact. In this past 2 years, we've been able to impact over 6,000 lives. And I'm talking to people who are into impact. So also know your niche, know who you're speaking to. So I'm talking to people who already, I know, are into impact, that they're developing themselves so that they can develop others. And I let them know, like, if you're working with 50, 80, even 100, 200 people a year, imagine what we can do together. And so I'm enrolling them not into Purium, I'm enrolling them into the vision. And so you need to become clear in your vision and enroll them into the vision. And then they will become clear in their vision and they will enroll people into the vision. And that's how you'll find the right people. It'll be so clear who to talk to. It'll be clear where to find them. I know where to find. If I want to find somebody, I'll go to Barnes and Nobles and go to the personal development. I know where these people are at. They're reading.
Yeah. And you said, like, that's the thing, you're a leader leading leaders. Like, this is basically what then, because we don't want people to just follow, blindly what they're being told outside of their own inner guidance, right? So that, anyways, that's what my passion is finding your own solutions and answers from within, and then you are strong enough to make those decisions for yourself. So thank you. That leadership, that is definitely something that at this stage I need to develop, because I could be, quiet and do my own little thing, but this call is just so strong now that so many people are needing this type of the paradigm shift that we're part of, so that we're not, putting our energy into the old systems anymore. That's my passion. So
Perfect.
Thank you.
I'm telling
Brandon, can you repeat the book?
What book? I never know what I'm saying, honestly, when I'm talking. It's just kind of like, what book was I talking about?
Okay, one you said was a 5 levels of leadership.
Oh, John C. Maxwell. The first book that you should read if you're new to leadership is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That's one. And then the second is the 5 levels of leadership, both John C. Maxwell.
Okay, perfect.
And then another book that he has that's really perfect for network marketing is The Leader's Greatest Return, because it's really about the duplication. It's really about, like, a level 4 leader duplicates. So, like, there's 5 levels of leadership. The first level of leadership is just positional leadership, which it doesn't even work here. Nobody cares that I'm a crown outside of Purium. Like, it doesn't do anything for me to be a crown out into the world, because nobody knows what that even means. So like, just by your title, if everybody worked for me and I was a manager, then I would have positional leadership, right? But that doesn't work here. The second level of leadership is connection. I see that that's super high here in the Purium community, because everybody really loves each other. So you can lead people because they know you care, right? But that creates an environment of community, but not necessarily an environment of production. And a leader has to be productive, right? The third level of leadership is production. So that's when people follow you because they know that you are a high performer. They know that they will win when they're with you. The fourth level of leadership is duplication. That's when you're able to develop leaders. So the other ones, you can develop you can recruit and attract a lot of followers. But level 4 is a leader that develops leaders. That will make you a millionaire here. The level 5 is it's the pinnacle. Like, that's when that's more important than, like, your position. I could have no name and be a 5-level leader, and people would want to join Purium because, like, people could want to join Purium. You know how people join Purium because of Dave? I heard that before on a call. Like, they knew Dave Sandoval's here, so they joined it. Like, that's when you're a level 5 leader. And you can be you're on different levels with different people, by the way. And this isn't a thing that you can just do overnight, because you have to develop even leadership is just influence. And before you can influence anybody, you have to develop trust. But I recommend getting a book. All of that stuff's in the book.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Anyone else? I think Romina wanted to say something. Angela. Unmute yourself, ladies. Whoever wants to go first, go.
I'm having a problem with my audio. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Angela.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Brandon. I love this. I've been stuck in victim mode for many, many years, and I've been doing hypnotherapy to try to get out of it. And it's helping, and I can feel myself growing and evolving. I guess my question is, were you in victim mode when you were, like, homeless and stuff, and how did you get out of that?
It was cold. It was so cold. That's what I love about rock bottom is, like, you got to make a decision. I was hungry. I was cold. And I don't know if I would say, yeah, victim mode because of the because I had that mindset, these things always happen to me. It was more of a just like I was in victim mode. But I was at rock bottom. Like I literally couldn't continue down that path. We either change from two things, inspiration or desperation. I was in desperation. So when you can't go any further, you have to change, or you just surrender, which I was close to, surrendering my life too, because everything was just kept not working. But what happened is I just realized that it was my responsibility. Like my happiness is my responsibility, my success is my responsibility, my attitude is my responsibility. Like that's what I really love about personal development. That's what I really love about A Course in Miracles. Like you're responsible for everything. You're responsible for sight. You're responsible for what you see, because we literally don't see through our eyes. We see through our beliefs. We're taking in billions of bits of information every single second of the day. We only perceive the things that are already within our own awareness. And so that was a decade ago. So the thing that really changed my life, I could say, was changing my beliefs, which is an ongoing process. It's a constant, it's a never ending process. It's a daily process. You can't take a day off from your personal growth and development. That'd be like taking a day off from brushing your teeth. Like, it's going to get bad. You got to get that in. You got to do that.
It's like brushing.
Thank you. Were you stuck in like non-forgiveness and resentment and stuff?
No, that's something that I really work on. That's why I think the Course really speaks out to me, because absolutely, I have so many people in perceived situations that I felt like did me wrong, because I'm a Cancer. So like, it's emotional for me. Like if I open up and allow somebody, like, I'm gonna give you everything, I'm gonna pour the world out. I've given people cars, all type of stuff. And when it doesn't go the way that it's not reciprocated, which now I'm realizing everybody's not at the level of awareness to even possibly reciprocate it, or even at the level of awareness to even understand the gift that was given. But before that, I was stuck in unforgiveness. I was having like nightmares and blood boiling. Yeah, I've experienced all of that. That like definitely. I definitely had my heart broken plenty of times.
And how did you let that go? How did you forgive and let go of resentment and just let go?
Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. A Course in Miracles literally is the only thing. Every day, I'm gonna take a miracle moment after this. Like I do it like a shower, like constantly. Like in the Bible, it says pray unceasingly. I do it all the time. It's not like one big thing. Everything. Like anytime, like if anybody said something that I took offense to on this call, I would immediately say, God, take this from me, judge it for me. Let me not use it as an obstacle to peace, but let you use it to facilitate peace's coming. It's a constant surrender. That's my whole, like last year, our mantra was standards and stamina. Raise our standards and then develop endurance and stamina at that new standard. Because think about your running and then you run at a higher pace, you're typically going to burn out, but you want to build endurance at that pace. This year is surrendering boundaries. So a constant surrendering of things that are offense, because nobody can you have to take offense. Like if you're offended, that's a choice. Again, major responsibility. And when you think of nothing real can be threatened, only nothing unreal exists, what that means is the spirit is, it can't be threatened. Like there's nothing that could possibly hurt, endanger, or touch your spirit. And we're not our minds, we're not our bodies, we are spirits. So anytime that we get emotional or we feel wronged or we feel all these different emotions, it's because we're over attaching ourselves with our body, with our things, with people that we're trying to possess. And that's us living and seeing through our ego. And so nothing real even exists means that when I feel this twinge of anger and resentment and unforgiveness, things like that, I've fallen asleep. I'm in a dream. I'm on a highway going 100 miles per hour, literally sleep. And I'm You know, when on the side of the highway, it's that boom, 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 those little things that try to wake you up. When I feel that in my body, that's that boom, 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 boom. I'm like, no, it's not this person outside of me. I'm actually asleep at the wheel right now. I'm not even conscious right now. And so take this from me, judge it for me. You know, let me not use this as an obstacle. Let me not be in my dream thinking I'm getting, beat up and try to fight back in my dream. No, waken, like wake me up. Like I would like to be awake. I would like to be conscious right now so that I can steer this thing in the right direction or allow you to steer it in the right direction. But I have clearly fallen asleep. So it's a constant surrender. And then it's also creating boundaries with people who that we know that we love and that we want to help, but cannot operate at this altitude of the mountain. It's hard to breathe sometimes when you're working on this. You're constantly working on it on your own awareness. It creates a distance from people who are not working on themselves. And it's not a judgment, but we have to understand that they literally can't even see what they're doing that's hurting you. And just like a lion, like if you go lay down with a lion and the lion starts to bite you because you thought it was cute and you just wanted to play with Simba, it's not the lion's fault. And so what you have to do is you have to love and respect the lions from a healthy distance, And so that's how we look at things. Surrender and boundaries has been a huge thing for me and my wife, for sure.
Incredible. Okay. Romina, I know you wanted to say something.
Wow, I didn't know what I wanted to say or what I wanted to ask, but thank you, Taz. Just when you said, and thank you for the person before me that asked that question, because that was the cue, I guess. Maybe a couple of months ago, I just learned about Course in Miracle, and I was like, what is this? And I started like reading the book, and I was like, okay, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But when you said it and everything that you're saying, it's just struck a chord to me. Like, thank you for sharing. I know I'm on the right track. That's what it is. I think that's what's the most important for me. And sometimes I feel like I need that reassurance, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right track? Yeah. So.
Who you ask those questions to is so important. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy, but I'm telling you, I remember one specific time, I was so enraged. I had gave a guy a place to live, gave him a car, like all this stuff, put him in one of my other businesses so he could, because he was going to go to the army, but he didn't want to go to the military. So we literally created a perfect environment for this person to be successful. And they stole from us and all this stuff, right? So I'm on a highway and I'm like having a bad life, not a bad life, but like I'm in a situation based off somebody I tried to help. And this person's telling a story as if it didn't even happen and it was different. So like, I'm literally I'm bloodlust on the highway. And I'm like, I don't want to feel like this. Like, you know what I mean? Because I come from an environment where it's like, I have that, I have experience. I don't want to go backwards in life. And I literally just said, Holy Spirit, help me. I just asked for help. And I'm telling you, I felt like huge release. Now, before, I was asking my mentor, I was asking a bunch of people. I was asking all these successful people who are in leadership, people who've been through. I was asking everybody outside, but I had to really ask the Spirit, please help me. And like that, it just and I'm telling you, I laughed so hard. I was crying. I was cracking up on how I was in pure bliss like that. So be mindful of when you're asking, for that clarity, the receiver is actually already within. You know what I mean? It's already within. Trust. Again, you go through these things to develop trust, because then and then when you look outside, it's like anything going on in the world, it's whatever, because I already got, within me is already everything. It's a completely different life.
Well, thank you so much.
It's 5:02. Unfortunately, I've got to run, but it's an incredible connecting with you all. I really appreciate the opportunity to share and to meet you all and to see some familiar faces and some familiar screenshots. Best intentions to you all. I look forward to, and I know Olivia does too, seeing you all this April in California.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brandon. Thank you so much. I know we have a lot of work to do after this call. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Brandon.